In this video, I've taken our cart and I've gone ahead and created a search filter. So just an overview of how it works. This is the SQL query. And if you remember, you may not have remembered this, but from WebD 167, the database class, the percents are trump cards and they work with the like. So we see percents here. That's my section. So if I type in, I don't know, E, like that, each of these letters each of these products has an E in their name: iPhone, camera, and Weezer. If I type in that, I get Weezer. Now the percent would be the W, and the last percent would be everything that comes after it. So if I were to do something like CO, here's C for camera, and then cover, I get cover. If I were to do any of these, like just phone, like that, I get that response. So it's a very loose keyword search, and I think it works really well. But again, our goal here is to not only to cater to our user, to get them what they want, but to give you credibility if you use this for your final project on your implementation of these methods that I'm working to show you. So I think it's a super easy thing to enter. I'm doing on key up, so not on key down. Let me change it to on key down so you can see what I'm talking about here. I'm going to go to the HTML. And this is a big deal that sometimes gets missed in our curriculum. We are inside the index here, and I'm going to do on key up. So this is the key up function right here, and I'm going to do a key down. We're just going to change it a little. And what I want you to pay attention to is the query itself. So if I type in Weezer, it works fine. On key up would be a commitment to that query before it actually happens. So we actually gain speed with using on key up instead of on key down. You're free to use either. With vanilla JavaScript, you'd go with key up every time. I'm going to keep it at key up, but the idea is to test it and take a good look at what happens. Now, let's say you wanted to test it. If you wanted to go to your dev tools, and I'm going to go ahead and upload this because I am working directly off my server. And if we go to our DevTools right here, right, and we look at network, okay, and all we're going to look at in the network is XHR. XHR is the XML HTTP request, which is actually Ajax. So when I hit refresh on this, I'm going to type in E. And that's how fast it came in. Really fast, 93 microseconds. E. So it's always super duper fast. So that's Ajax. Let's talk about the implementation next. The first thing I did was, and I'm going to go ahead and go to my HTML real quick. So I had created a drop-down toggle. I created a form group for this. And it's only going to be one element, but I wanted to grab the CSS from Bootstrap, which this will allow. So I have label for user, so it's going to be this label. And I don't actually, this is for you, more so than for me. I like placeholders. It's a personal thing, but I did add an ID called user. Then inside my Bootstrap, I went with jQuery. So I have a document ready function. Just to review, document ready occurs. The blocks inside document ready, the blocks of code that is, will occur when the entire page loads. So I did this because if I don't have it, the hashtag user will not be able to access its element unless this block of code is below the user in the HTML, because it's going to load top to bottom just like any normal web page. So by using document ready, that hashtag user will be available for access. So I'm grabbing the ID user that I just showed you and adding key up, the key up function in the key up listener in jQuery, and then I'm running that closure, that function, that empty anonymous function next to it. I have a const called query, which equals the value of the text field that has the ID user. And then I'm getting, which we've done above with the rating system. I want to keep it consistent. Filter.php with query equals and the value of the text field. And I've console.log the data that came back, and that data is going to be this. It's the actual HTML of only those elements that satisfy this query. Okay, And it happens super duper fast. I'm very pleased with the speed of this and how fast Ajax has gotten. If we go back to our code now, this is it. This is literally it. But I'm grabbing the ID products. Now let me show you where I put the ID products. If I look at see ID prods, this is in the row and the container that has all the products. So I have ID prods. Okay. Now the prods with that ID will need to be populated by the data that comes back from the jQuery. So we have our closure here with the arguments. The data is what I just logged, which is all the HTML. And I'm making the HTML equal to that data. Now, let's talk about the filter, because if we do filter query, let me show you what happens with this. I'm going to go directly to filter. Actually, I'll put these tabs right next to each other. I'm going to go filter.php, and I'm going to do query. And in this case, the query can equal empty. Okay, now watch what happens if I do W and load it, E and load it, E, oops, E and load it again. So I'm doing filter.php with all the values that we have, but notice there's no style. That's because the filter.php is without that. So basically on keyup, we're just passing all these values. If I have E, I'll get all three. If I go E again we go to Weezer. So let's go to the filter page itself. And what I've done here is, again, call the database, get the value from the URL window, and create my query. Now I'm going to actually comment out the echoing of the query because I want it to not be visible on the home page anymore. But I'm running the same query and statements that's on the index page. It literally copied them. And now I'm for each looping around each product because we don't know if it's going to be plural. So in each one of these we have column MD4, MD4, MD4. So that is how we can work with it. So going back to the index, simple cart right here, now you see the query is lost, and I can do phone, just like that. So this needs to change its cache, by the way. The get method will maintain a cache. So when I do this, actually it's, oh, I haven't uploaded the filter yet. My bad. So let's do this, and we'll try W, and now we see the query gone. So that's a filter. We can build all this stuff up to our heart's delight, have number of results. In fact, we can carry that back, and we can do that just by how many times we've terminated a loop. So there's a bunch of ways to do the number of results, but just for now, I think a super fast filter is a nice way to go for this project. Now, now's a good time to talk about what's left in this, and that is having categories, making our checkout better with a loop, having an alternate checkout. I'm thinking something with Stripe, but getting you folks comfortable for having this as an option for your final project.